Okay, I've been in this Malaysian game industry for over 20 years now. I started working in the game industry in the year 2000. At that time, there were only 2 game companies in the whole of Malaysia, all right, officially making games. So I worked in one of them, and in 2008, I left the company and started my own indie studio. Okay, a small development studio where we do mostly outsourced work, particularly games, specializing in games for corporations. All right. So I also lecture because at that point of time there weren't that many people with experience or knowledge in this industry. So a lot of universities, I was giving a lot of talks, workshops and things like that in unis like MMUs, Lim Kok Wing. Then I joined Lim Kok Wing as a lecturer, okay? And after about 2 years, I left Lim Kok Wing and joined KDU, okay? Because they started a games development program. Now KDU is called, was bought over by UOW. That's the shirt I'm wearing here. All right, and I'm now a lecturer at the University of Wollongong, Malaysia. All right, so that's me. Okay, so today what I'm going to be talking about is game design. All right, so one of the things a lot of people ask me as a game developer, okay, and specializing in game design, they always ask, so what exactly is game design? Okay, a lot of people get confused about what it is. All right, is it like graphics design? Do you do the art? Do you do, the visuals of it? And actually, no, because in game dev, there are many fields of expertise. All right, you want art, you go to game artists. They are the ones who do the art. Then you have game programmers that do the tech and the coding and the programming. All right, so then if programmers are in tech and art and graphics is in art, what do game designers do? All right, game designers at the end of the day create the architecture of the game. All right, the experiential part of the game. Because you must always remember, a game, yes, is a program most of the time, a video game. So yes, you need programmers. A game is also multimedia, graphics and audio. That's why you have artists working on it. But more than anything else, a game is entertainment. All right, it has story, it has action, it creates experiences for the players. And that is what game designers create. We create the experience of the game. Does that make sense? Okay, so that is actually what game design is. Now, you might think creating the experience of the game. So how do you really do that? Okay, what do you mean by creating the experience of the game? In order to do that, first you need to really know what is a game. Do you all know, any one of you can tell me what is a game? You all play games, right?
Yeah.
So you all should be able to answer me, right? What is a game? Okay, when I ask my students, this is one of the first questions I ask them in the first class. What is a game? And most of the time, no one can answer me. They all know what games are because they play games. But what is it actually? All right? interactive entertainment, you're still missing one part. Okay? Yes, it is a game is an activity that you play for fun. All right? That's what it is, nothing else. It is an activity, so it's something that you do. All right? It's something that you play. All right? And this is one important thing to keep in mind about play. It must be voluntary. Okay? The key word here is voluntary. If you have to force someone to play, is it still play? No, right? It's work, actually. You do something, you ask someone, do this. That's work. It's not play anymore. Only when people choose to play voluntarily, then you can consider it play. Make sense? Okay? So you need to create an experience people want to play. You can't force them. You can't make them. You need to make them want to. Okay? That is why we create games to be fun. So people who want that fun will enjoy themselves with that particular activity. Make sense? All right? Cool. So, the third most common question I always get asked. Now you know what a game is, what game design does. All right? Most people who are thinking, let's make a game of our own, will always ask these questions then. What game should I make? How do I decide? What can be turned into a game? And the answer is anything. Anything can be turned into a game as long as it meets certain requirements. Okay? Then it is considered a game. If it doesn't meet those requirements, it's not a game. But if it has all these elements in it, it is a game. All right? And today we will be talking about these 5 elements that makes up a game. All right? Cool. So, before we start, one important thing to keep in mind. A lot of you, especially I met a lot of students who decided to study games development, games design, because they enjoy playing games. But unfortunately, playing a game versus making a game is very different. How different is it? It is as different as driving a car and building a car. All right? Driving a car is easy, same like playing a game is easy. All right? You just use the joystick or keyboard, mouse. You can play the game. But building a car is complicated, complex. There are many components in it. And making a game is the same. There are many components to it. Today, I will be simplifying most of the components to the core part of game design, where we will only talk about the 5 key components. Okay? All right, cool. So now we talk about what games should I make? Now, this is an important step that you need to consider when you want to start making a game. Deciding on the game you want to make. And as I said, this is actually not a simple question. It's a complicated question. Because anything in this world can be made as a game. Any subject, okay, any thought can evolve into a game. All right? The process can be a bit complicated. All right? but anything can be made into a game. So, how should you decide what to make as a game? All right? It comes down to just two simple points. One, the first point is, what do you want to make the game for? What's your purpose of making that game? Is it to entertain people? Then you should ask yourself, who am I entertaining? What will they find entertaining? Okay, what will excite them? What will interest them? Make your game based on that. Knowing what your game is for, what you want to create your game is very important. And that is why it's called design. Okay? Design is not just creating something, it's creating towards a particular purpose. All right? So every time you see the word design, it means you're creating to a higher purpose that you have set for it. All right? So what game should you make? It depends on who you are making it for. All right? Now, we will move out a bit of design to talk about games development, how we make games. All right? Making games simplified, there is 5 key steps to it. All right? These key steps are written here. First, of course, you need to design the game. All right? Designing is like creating the blueprint of your game. All right? And that's what we will be talking about today. I won't be talking about the others today, but I'll show you this so that you know what the process flow will be like. After you have gotten the blueprint from the design, then of course you go in and start development. All right? Development is when the programmers will take your blueprint from the design and start planning out and trying to create the codes, maybe prototyping your game out. At around the same time or slightly after your development start but still going on, production will probably start. Production is where the artist starts coming in. All right, the artist comes in, they start concepting your artwork, your visuals, deciding what sound to use in order to match the experience the game is trying to create. All right? Now, once everything is going in full flow, okay, the game now starts getting made. From the experiential part, the technical part, and also the content part. All right? Once everything is completed, the next stage is, of course, to test the game, to make sure the game is fun. Okay, it meets your requirements. And then, if your testing is successful, you launch the game, you commercialize it. Okay, so in a nutshell, these are the 5 steps of games development. All right, simplified lah. Okay, we will only be talking about design today. All right, and a simplified form of design. Okay, cool. Right. So, how do we design games? All right, since games are activities, right? We talked about it being an activity that people play for fun. All right. The best way to learn how to make a game is to play a game. So, I would like some volunteers. All right? We'll play a game and we will, as we go through explaining how to play this game, I will also go through the steps of how the game is made. All right. So, like all games, if you all play computer games, there is always a level, all right? A place or your play space in which the game actually happens on. So this is part of the play space. So I would like 3 persons to come and stand on this side, and 3 persons to stand on that side. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, like I said, the first thing that you want to do when you want to create a game is to have an idea of what game to create. That's your game concept. All right? And the game concept for this particular game that I came up with was for this particular talk. So I was wondering, how can I show people how games are made? All right, that's the objective, the purpose of this game. All right, so we're going to do a very simple game. So the initial concept, game concept that I had was, let's make a simple game of throwing balls. Okay, one side of people will throw the ball at a target. Okay. Or will you all prefer to throw? And they be good targets. Who prefer to be the thrower?
Heads or tails?
Huh?
Heads or tails?
Heads or tails? Okay, who has a coin? Ah, okay, so heads or tails? Hello?
We want to call it.
Heads or tails? Heads.
Tails.
Tails. Okay. Now, since we have this side has won, all right? Since this side has won, let's make them the throwers, okay? So the throwers gets 5 balls each. Can you hold the balls? Yeah. Yeah. No. 1 person, 5 balls. 1 person, 5 balls. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought we had to distribute it.
Yeah. Yeah. But give me back the pail.
Kindness is voluntary.
Okay, and you guys gets to hold the pail.
Where's the... Oh.
All right. So for this game, it's actually very simple. All right. So the whole idea of this game is for them, the throwers, okay, to throw the ball, and the catchers have to try and catch the balls.
Be nice.
All right. Don't throw at them lah. Try to throw into the.
That's what you made
Okay.
it sound like earlier. I was ready.
Okay. All right. So this is the initial concept of the game. Now, let's go through and see what are the elements of a game. Okay? There are 5 elements to a game. A game is not just an idea or a concept. It needs to have the components that makes up the game. All right? So, these elements that you see here that I'm going to show to you are basically the things that makes up the basis of a game. All right? The first element is what we call game objects or tokens. Okay? Now, game development is something that people all over the world do. So as a result, many people have many different names for the same things. Some people, some developers will call this game objects. Some will call it game entities. Some will call it actors, like if you do, you know, oh, I forgot the name already. Some will call it actors, some will call it entities. All right? Okay? So the first element is game objects. Now, based on the concept of the game, since I won, yeah, it goes on and off. Yeah. Hello? Hello? Okay, this is better. Okay, so based on the concept of the game, we have already identified a couple of game objects. All right? We have the people throwing the balls. Those are game objects. So congratulations, you guys are game objects. Okay? The people who are going to catch the balls are also game objects. All right? Because they are going to catch the balls. All right? So, the balls themselves, can I have one of them? All right? Are also game objects. Basically, game objects are everything that the game needs. Even the level, the space in which the game is being played are game objects. Okay? So you can literally say a game is completely made up of different game objects. Okay? And one of the key things that we have to do when we make games is list out and identify every game object used in the game. Okay? Cool. Now, once you have identified some of the game objects for your game, the next thing to do, you have to look into the direction or the game objective. What does the players do? Now, no one likes games where they are lost and they don't know what to do. All right? Giving direction, giving objectives to your players so they know what to do is very important. Because when people get lost, it's no longer fun. Make sense? So make sure you have clear directions. In the case of this game, it is very simple. The objective of the game is the thrower needs to throw the ball into the pots that the catchers hold. And the catchers have to try and catch as many balls as they can. That's it, simple. Each ball you catch, the catcher will earn a point. Each ball of your color that goes into the pot, the thrower gets a point. All right? Simple objective. Okay? So we have set the game objects. We have set the game objectives. Earn points, basically. All right? By throwing balls into your pots. Now we go to the next step. Okay? The rules and mechanics of the game. Okay? The thing is, we said, okay, the throwers need to throw balls. But how? What are the rules behind it? It's what people call game mechanics. It's basically the rules behind the game. All right? So, looking at this, the game direction and the mechanics that we have, you're just going to throw balls. You'll probably think at this point of time, as the designer, maybe this is a bit boring. Too simple. Let's make it a bit more interesting. Because remember, we must make a game that is fun. All right? So let's make things a bit more complicated. All right, at this point. Okay, so since a person just throwing the ball is a bit too simple, let us get 3 more game objects in. Okay? Can you have the 3 remaining of you stand behind the tree here? Okay, after you'll come and stand here. Huh? Okay, so you'll stand behind one of the throwers each. You are going to be called the aimers. So now, okay, the throwers, you cannot choose where to throw. The aimers will direct you where to throw by telling you, you stand like that, turn left or turn right. Or fire.
Is that constraints to the turn left or turn right?
Huh?
Is that constraints to the turn left or turn right?
No, there's no constraint. That's up to you. I'll leave it up to you. All right?
So literally, if the aimer literally just tells me,
360
okay,
bro?
turn left, fire. I can, right?
Yeah lah.
Okay.
Yeah lah.
Just want to
Can.
make sure.
Can. But then you won't get any points because it doesn't go inside the bucket. Right?
No points, but it was funny.
Yep. Okay. And to make it so that you will follow their orders is they will have mission. Okay? Each of them, there is 3 possible missions they can choose to use. You can call it winning strategies lah. All right? So, you already know that the thrower earns 1 point for every ball of your color that goes into a pot, right? And the catchers earn 1 point for every ball they catch in their pot. All right? Now, let's make the game more interesting by creating teams. So we have the orange team, the yellow team, and the pink team. All right? And the person that is opposite them is the corresponding team as well. Okay? Orange, yellow, and pink. To indicate this, I'm going to add something called a label. These are also game objects, okay? All right. So orange is going to be first. So orange, you are in team orange. Okay. Then yellow is going to be second. You can wear this actually. You can wear this.
I don't think that's gonna fit over my head. Let's be so real. Let's be so real.
Can one. And you are
So tired.
team pink.
Come on.
All right? Okay. So, all right. So, with this, we have one new rule or new game object called missions. All right? And the mission is simple. All right? There is 3 possible missions that you all can choose. Okay? Mission 1. Okay? You get 3 points if at least 1 ball of your color goes into every basket. All right? So this is something that you guys, the aimers, needs to know. Because you will have to plan which of this mission to do. You must remember your throwers only have 5 balls. That means you have 5 shots. There are 3 groups. All right? So, and you must also think about what if they miss. All right? Not every ball, even though it's very short, it's not that easy. All right? Okay? The second mission, where you can earn points, also 3 points, is you must get exactly 3 balls of your color in one basket. So the first mission is 1 in each. All right? If you get 1 in each, you immediately get 3 points. This 3 points is in addition to the points the throwers and the catchers get. Okay? All right? And the second mission is you also get 3 points if you get 3 of your 5 balls in one pot. So as you can see, doing mission 1 means you can't do mission 2. All right? And your third mission, which will be 5 points, worth 5 points. Your mission is to get at least 2 balls of your color in 2 different pots. That means 4 balls altogether. Harder lah, that's why it's 5 points. Right? Okay? So you have to decide how you want to get your points. And you must also remember your throwers and your catchers can collect points on your team's behalf. Does that make sense? All right? And there is one bonus now, an additional bonus for the catchers. Okay? The catchers, if you collect 2 balls of the same color, it can be any color, but you have 2 balls of the same color in your pot, you get a bonus 1 point. All right? Now, this means the catchers can try and tell or convince the throwers to throw the balls at you, so you can catch more balls in order to earn more points. Does that make sense? All right? Okay? And the throwers have to listen to the aimers. All right? Okay? So please feel free to shout and convince the other side to try and throw the ball towards you. All right? Okay, good. Any questions so far?
You can do both mission 1 and 2.
Yes, you can.
Oh, just now you said you couldn't.
You can.
Okay.
Yep. Each mission can be done multiple times if you have enough balls. Okay? All right? And yes, you can do mission 1 and mission 2. All right.
The thrower open or close the eyes?
Thrower? No, thrower open eyes lah. Closed eye is too hard already. You cannot. Okay? Can? All right. So you all remember the 3 missions, right? All right. Okay. So those are the rules. Okay. So basically, as you have noticed, when you came here to this part of the design, sometimes you might go backwards and make changes. All right? This process is not a fixed process. We do it in this order first, just to make things easier for us. But that doesn't mean that at any stage you can't go back and make changes to it. All right, this is important to keep in mind. Okay? Right. So now we have the rules. Okay, let's look at the next step of the game development process or game design process. The next part is to think about the constraints and challenges of the game. All right? So in this case, the constraints of the game or the challenges of the game is already in a way set. It is set in the fact that you have to throw the ball over a 6-foot distance. This is roughly 6 foot. 2 white steps, like 6 foot, roughly lah. All right? The challenges of the game is those buckets are quite small. All right? Okay? And the fact that everyone will be throwing God knows where. So it becomes very confusing. The reason why you guys need to wear this is so that because you don't know everyone's name. So at least with this, you can call, hey, number 2, I'm throwing to you, catch my ball. You know, or number 3, I'm throwing to you, catch my ball. All right? Or number 1. Okay? And for your side, you can call A, B, or C to try and convince them to throw the balls to you. Make sense? All right? That's why labels are important. You don't want to get things mixed up. Because in a lot of game development, there can be literally hundreds or even thousands of objects. All right? Many times there are bugs in games because your program called the wrong object. Okay? Right. So you think about the constraints and challenges, and if you want to make things different, modify things, you can always go back and modify the rules or the objectives or the game objects. All right? Now, after you complete, then you go to the 5th and final element of a game, which is the rewards. All right? All games must have certain type of rewards for your players because you need to motivate people to want to play your game. All right? Generally, there are 3 types of rewards, broad categories of rewards. The first type will be most recognizable to you lah. All right, which is what I call material rewards or game tool rewards. Game tools are rewards that help you win the game, such as when you kill a monster in an RPG, you get XP, you get gold. You can get items, use the gold to get items to advance in the game. Anything that helps you win the game or progress the game is a material reward. All right? The second type of reward is what we call an intellectual reward. All right? An intellectual reward is a reward where the player intellectually feels satisfied. Maybe it's because they learned something. Maybe it's because they did something they are proud of. Like for example, solving a puzzle. Feeling good about it. Or when you play a game and you learn something new that you feel could be useful or is very interesting. That is what is known as an intellectual reward. All right? Then the third type of reward is, of course, an emotional reward. Okay, so emotional reward is normally given through a story or storyline. These are the 3 key forms of rewards that normally is given out in any game. All right? We need to use these rewards well, in order to make it fun, so that people will play your game. Make sense? All right? Cool. So in the terms of these rewards, of course I have to prepare some rewards for you guys, right? All right. So simple reward lah. I've got some chocolates here for the winning team. Okay? Okay, but don't worry, everyone who participate get some sweets. All right, cool. So those are the 5 elements of a game. So let's play the game and see how fun is it. Okay, so the aimers behind. So have you all decided, the aimers, have you all decided which strategy to use? Okay, all right. So remember your strategies, okay, your method, so that you can give the right one, right orders to your throwers, yeah. Okay, all right, and catchers ready to catch. Wow, are you sure you can catch like that? Okay, all right. So.
Yeah, I'm scared of him. I'm sure with you. Don't worry. You're not the one with balls in your hand.
Okay, we're going to have 5 minutes on the clock. All right. So I'll shout start and end now. When the 5 minutes is up, I'll shout end. All right. The timer is also a game object. All right. So everything in the game is a game object. Okay. All right.
Are we on the same team here? I feel this is hostile.
Yes. Yellow team, your scores will be tabulated together.
What can you?
Okay.
What can I say? Your
Orange
throw
will
is
be
throw.
stored together, will be tabulated together. Your score for pink team will be tabulated together. Then we'll see which team wins. Okay. Right. So, are you ready? Get set. Go.
You don't really have to discuss with me. All I do is throw. You don't really have to discuss with me.
The single say one. Yeah. I think for the second one.
I'm short, man.
Number 3.
Number 2.
Number 1. Okay, you got it. Number 1.
For the right one.
Number 3. Number 3. Number 3. Number 3.
Yeah. For the third one, stop for the number bucket number 2.
I want to make it quick.
Number 1. Go for number 1. Done already, yeah?
Ah. Okay, done. Okay, thank you. your 2 balls fell down.
Where did it go?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Those were the missed one, right? Yeah, never mind. Just leave it there. Okay, so normally there will also be another game object called the score counter. All right, since no one else came up, so I will do the score counting myself lah. All right, so let's see how many balls you got. You got 3 balls. So as the catcher, you have collected 3 points. Okay, since you have no pairs or pair color, you don't get the bonus point. So your points is 3. For you also same, 3 balls, so you have 3 points. For you, you have 3 balls also, 3 points, but you have 1 pair. So that is another 1 point. So you have 4 points. All right, cool. All right. Now, for orange color, you have 1, 2. Do you have orange here? Yes, you have orange. 1 in each pot. So you also, orange team gets 5 additional points. Okay, so you got 3 points plus 5 points, that is 8 points. All right, so what about yellow? Do you have yellow? Yellow? Do you have yellow? No, you don't have yellow. So yellow, you don't get anything. All right, pink, you have pink, pink, pink. Pink, you have also 5 extra points for completing your mission. All right, so now you have a total of 9 points. So the winner of this match is pink team. Whoa! Next thing is, all right, game objectives. Having a clear objective is very important because there is nothing that will frustrate a player more than not knowing what they are supposed to do. Okay? And then after that is about the game mechanics. These are the rules of play, how the game shall be played. The rules, in a way, create constraints for the player. All right? It limits the player. Because it has rules, that's why it becomes a game. All right? The player needs to use the rules to win the game, to achieve the objective. Otherwise, you just have haywalk. People can do whatever they want. There must be rules. And that's what game mechanics are. The mechanics of how the rules work and how each game object interacts inside the game. All right? And then, of course, you need challenges. All right? Challenges can be anything. It could be other players. All right? It could be a time limit. But whatever it is, challenges are what make games interesting. Because why? It makes it so that the player is uncertain whether they will win or lose. Okay? Because uncertainty, or as a lot of people like to call it, RNG. Okay? Randomness, uncertainty is important. If you know the result of your actions already, you guarantee pass or you guarantee fail, it's going to be very boring. Okay? Uncertainty adds that spice. All right? Okay? So that's what challenges do. And finally, rewards. People always want to be rewarded for what they do. It could be material rewards, or it could be intellectual rewards, or even emotional rewards. You should reward them a little bit with something. For most games, all right, they use rewards, they give out rewards a lot. Okay? Practically every minute in the game, they're giving you some sort of reward. It's one of the reasons why people love games so much. All right? Figuring out how to give the rewards in ways that are not boring is one of the biggest challenges of making a game. All right? Otherwise, it becomes too grinding. Okay? Right. So, game designers do, what game designers do? Very simple. Help decide what sort of games you are going to make. All right? Figure out the game objects needed to make the games work. Come out with the game objectives to give direction to the players. All right? Design the game mechanics the players can use to achieve the objectives. Create the game challenges to constrain the players, make things uncertain for them, and decide on the game motivation to reward the players. All right? So generally, in a nutshell, these are the 5 elements that makes up a game. All right? And of course, make it all as fun as possible for the players. All right? Okay, Finn, that's it. Thank you very much. That's all for today. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the floor? Anyone? No?
No questions?
Go on, this one. Oh, two, yeah.
Game designers depends on what type of game designer you are. All right, knowing how to code, at least the basics of coding, will be useful, because at the end of the day, you are creating a software. Games are software. You need to know the limitations. You need to know what can or cannot be done. All right, the advantages, strengths, weaknesses of it all. So being a game designer, you must have at least a basic understanding of technology. You don't have to be as good a coder as a programmer, but knowing some coding will help, at least to create some scripts and things like that. Because in most modern game development studios, the programmers will have so much to do, they won't have time to make changes to your design. So most of the time for designers, they should know a bit of programming or coding. We don't call it programming or coding, we call it scripting. Know some scripting so that you can make modifications, minor modifications to the system to do testing and things like that. All right, without needing to keep disturbing the programmer. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
Can I ask, game design, is it required strong art or no need to be a strong art also can?
Okay, for a game designer, whether it's you need a strong art or not, again, similar to for tech, you don't have to be as good as an artist. All right? But having some understanding of art will be helpful. All right? Because many times the game designer, because you're creating the experience of the game, you're putting together the experience of the game, which is basically you're combining what the programmers created and what the artists created to combine them together to create an experience for the player. So having some understanding in art, how to evoke feelings, for example. All right, what sort of colors you should use, what sort of styles, okay, will help you to create better experiences and help you to talk better, communicate better with your artists. So you can tell them, this is what I need. This is what I'm trying to create. I want it to feel this way. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you don't have to be as good in art as an artist, but having a basic understanding of art, especially art theory, it will be useful. Same thing, a designer don't have to be as good as a programmer in coding, but having a fundamental understanding will help. Now you know what sort of gameplay is possible or not possible. You know, what can be created and can't be created. Okay?
How can a designer be a communication between a programmer and artist?
Yes. In fact, that is what one of the key things designers do. Because a designer, by the nature of their work, tend to understand tech and art both. All right, because they need to. However, a lot of times, programmers and artists find it hard to understand each other. And the reason for this is actually very simple. Left brain, right brain. Okay? A programmer is highly logical and is very process-oriented. An artist, on the other hand, is very intuitive-based. Okay? That's how they become creative in terms of art. Okay? It's basically the left brain, right brain problem. So, I have worked in quite a few game companies before, and in every company there is always conflict between programmers and artists. And me, as the lead designer in those studios, normally end up being the one, the in-between. There was one studio I was in, the programmers refused to talk to the artists, and the artists refused to talk to the programmer. Okay, that was how bad the relationship got. So I'm the one, every time the programmer will come and talk to me, oh, I need this. Why don't you tell the artist? No, they don't listen to me. Okay? Then I'll get it, I'll pass it to the artist. Then when the artist needs something, they'll come and talk to me. Then I become the messenger boy between the two of them. Yeah. So cases like this does happen. So one of the key things a designer needs to do, and it's important, is communications. Because a lot of times the idea of the game and how the game, the elements work together originates from you. And you need to communicate all this information to your team, to your programmers and your artists. So communication is a key skill for designers. All right, very important skill. So, because communication is such a skill, it also makes it easier for your rest of your team members. If they can't communicate with each other, they'll come to you. Make sense? Yeah. All right.
Anyone else? Can we just have a quick round of applause for Mr. Micheal Ooi?
Thank you.